One by one, they pulled in, engines revving, flags waving. Motorcycle riders from as far away as Florida and Minnesota coming together in Statesville, not for a biker rally, but to give thanks.
It's a way for all of us to gather up to make sure the families were never forgotten.
With over 100 riders, Tribute to the Troops spending an October weekend, visiting with the families of 6 fallen North Carolina heroes.
The heroes that we visit are the bravest, most wonderful people on earth.
The purpose of those visits, to let the families know that the sacrifices of their loved ones will never be forgotten.
Even though we can't know exactly how you feel, we know that every single day is Veterans Day at your house. Every day is Memorial Day at your house, my friend.
On this day, Tribute to the Troops honoring the family of Air Force Captain Mark Russell McDowell.
He graduated from South Iredell High School, right here, with a 4.25 grade average, and was accepted to the U.S. Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs, Colorado.
And I remember when he first started going there, I said, Mark, the schoolwork must be very difficult, right? And he said, no, it's easy. He said, because everybody here is brilliant. You wouldn't get here if you weren't brilliant. He said, what's tough is they're teaching you how to be a leader.
In July of 2009, just 2 months after being deployed to Afghanistan, Mark's fighter jet crashed into a mountainside during a nighttime mission. He'd been given bad information.
The information he received was that the elevation of the ground was at 3,000 feet, but it was actually at 8,000.
It is because of men like Mark McDowell that we are free. It is because of the sacrifices that they make and the selflessness that they show that we have our way of life.
During the presentation, riders share lots of hugs and personal stories. Mark's father, Stan, received a plaque.
We realize the hardship you've endured on behalf of our great nation. We want you to know that the wounds that you continue to carry in your hearts and minds will never be forgotten.
I knew they were going to have all these riders, but I didn't know they were going to all come up and speak to me. And that was great.
Most of them, this is the first time anyone has paid any attention to the death of their hero.
I'm so sorry for your loss.
And they're so excited because for some of them it's been 10, 11, 12 years and no one's ever said a word.
Susan McClamrock was previously recognized by Tribute to the Troops. Her son James was killed in 2010 when an Iraqi insurgent burst into his compound and started spraying bullets. He was struck 7 times.
And really, for me, it was about carrying on James's legacy. Technically, he should have been carrying my legacy at some point. And instead, I'm having to carry his.
Leading all the presentations is country musician and Statesville resident Rocky Lynn, a veteran of the U.S. Army himself. He first got the idea for Tribute to the Troops while living in Minnesota in the mid-2000s.
And the news comes on and it says, there's a traffic jam on I-35, pick another route. Somebody robbed a liquor store in St. Paul. Another Minnesota soldier killed in Iraq. And I thought, really? It's going to be the 3rd story down?
The first Tribute to the Troops ride was in 2004, with October's ride the 10th annual version in North Carolina. Rocky spends about 7 weekends a year devoted to this cause.
The one thing I think we bring to the table that is very different is that if you read the obituary of these men that we visited today, it would say he's from South Iredell and this is who he left behind and this is what unit he was with. But it doesn't tell you all those details that we find out. It doesn't paint a picture of the human being that he was, because every one of those lives that we lose, it's not just one life, it's an entire family, an entire community that's impacted.
Rocky researches each fallen hero's story and knows it inside out when doing the presentation.
And I call their coach from high school, I call the guy that managed the McDonald's that they worked at, and I find their story.
It's amazing how this organization, has portrayed that they really do care and that they're thankful for what our children did for us.
As part of each tribute ride, a banquet is held for all involved families, those being honored on that particular weekend, as well as those honored in the past. The most moving part of the evening comes when each family reads the name of their fallen hero, and a bell is rung to acknowledge their passing.
Army Corporal Daniel T. O'Leary.
Army Staff Sergeant Wandre T. Bradley.
Afterwards, Rocky's band performs, with many of his songs patriotic themed. He even recorded an album focusing on life in military service, Songs for Soldiers.
Heroes come from small towns.
people you saw today that were road guarding and setting up speakers and setting all of this event up and doing this, they all do it for free. And the ride is free. It's just a way for regular Americans to tell great Americans that they care.
Organizations like this, it helps me keep my head up, be proud of him.
It enlarges my circle of friends that I have. If I'm having a really bad day, I am free to connect with them and just say, hey, today is a really bad day. And they understand that pain.
Never forgetting those that made the ultimate sacrifice, while honoring the families that grieve their loss every day. For Carolina Impact, I'm Jason Terzis reporting.
We hope you enjoyed the story. If you don't want to miss any more great stories about the Charlotte region, please subscribe to our YouTube channel.